So BYU is getting creative with NIL in their players. Are they pushing the envelope or are they being habitual line steppers? Let's talk about that here in 20 seconds. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jay here with Unfair Sports, where we take a pensive approach to the sports conversation. And in this video, we're going to talk about BYU's quest for unlimited scholarships. So, Jimmy, you know how much I love the fact that the NIL passed July 1 and players are getting paid. I'm fascinated by all the deals that are being made. And everywhere I turn, there's more interesting deals being made left and right. I have been working on some stuff to talk through some of those deals, talk about the biggest benefactors of it. Those videos show up on our YouTube channel. So please go hit that up, like, subscribe, share, because sharing is caring. We appreciate that. And then make sure if you're listening to us here on the podcast, rate us and review us and give us 5 stars on Apple. If you deserve it, just go ahead and give us 5 anyway.
Give it.
But there's been another cool NIL deal that happened that is now raising questions to how close to the line are we? So BYU has brokered a NIL deal. This is an article out of USA Today. They brokered a deal with Built Bar. Have you heard of Built Bar?
I have not.
It is a protein bar at GNC. A buddy of mine sent me the article and told me about this, but I heard that it is delish. To the point of they're really hard to find because people buy them all up, all the best flavors. So anyway, protein bar company, they're based out of Utah. But guess what they're going to do, Jimmy?
What's that?
They are paying... The NIL deal is for every player on the team. So out of the 123 players on the team, every player is a brand ambassador. But this is how it gets even better. So every player that is on scholarship will get $1,000 for being brand ambassadors. But what about those walk-ons? They're a part of that 123. Their tuition is paid for by Built Bar. So now it asks and raises the question, is this a pay-to-play type scenario, which is technically not supposed to be legal? Or is this just a fancy way of circumventing the system and getting yourself more scholarships?
I think it is a fancy, creative way in order to really, it's about being able to get players into your program, because being at BYU, and they've had some good players here and there, but in terms of the
Zach
upper...
Wilson just got drafted.
Right, exactly. Okay, yeah, number 2 pick. So, in order to attract, I guess not so much the upper echelon talent, but in order to attract other players who may not be quite as sought after, to give them this extra avenue to make money from playing for this team, which does sound like pay to play, even if you're a walk-on, that you still get the equivalent of a scholarship. I think that this is part of what they're going to have to do in order to evolve, because the ecosystem of college football has now changed because of the NIL. So when you have schools like BYU, you're not going to be able to do what an Alabama or an Ohio State does. So thinking of ways like this, I think, is very intelligent, is very forward thinking. Again, because the NCAA doesn't know how to regulate anything, there isn't probably going to be much that they're going to be able to say to you about this as it exists in the current college football landscape with the NIL. So I love this. I think this is incredibly creative. I think that, it's a copycat league. Every league is a copycat league. So you'll see other schools do the exact same thing, which then forces a school like BYU to become even more creative in order to stay competitive when it comes to getting the best players that you can. So I think that this is fair. I really like it. And I think that it was just, these things are naturally going to happen.
Yeah. Everybody's going to find more and more creative ways to get these kids money because they ain't got to pay it out their own pocket. So they have no problem with spending other people's money. And that's the one thing I will say we know is going to happen. Teams are going to find a way to spend everybody else's money around them, and the school's not going to spend a single one of their dime. They're going to bring in nothing but that revenue. I think it is a creative way, and it is fair to say that they are being creative, and they're pushing the envelope, but I don't think they're overstepping the line. I appreciate
so not habitual line stepping.
Yeah, I appreciate the creativity behind it because everybody's doing it. Like, for example, Alabama freshman DB Kool-Aid.
I'm sorry, what?
Kool-Aid McKinstry, the corner for Alabama. He just signed a deal with Kool-Aid.
Yes. What's his name again?
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
As in, like, his mama named him that?
His mama named him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. I don't know. I think he go by Kool-Aid. And so guess what? Kool-Aid gave him some money. But as I'm saying, everybody's gonna get super creative with these deals.
I love that.
Quincy Kool-Aid McKinstry. Quincy Kool-Aid, my man. So they call him Kool-Aid.
I like
Kool-Aid's got a deal.
Yeah.
But no, everybody's getting creative with all of this. Like, what was that? Missouri and Arkansas, their offensive lines are sponsored by local barbecue joints.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so everybody's going to be doing all of this. And this is what fascinates me about this is how teams, schools, and local boosters are going to leverage these NIL deals and find ways to funnel money to these kids in a legal way. That's always been the problem when it came to boosters giving kids money. It's not the fact that they're giving them money. It's the fact that these kids are getting money tax free. Everybody wants them to pay taxes. Everybody wants some accountability behind all of this stuff, which I don't, whatever. But this ain't going to help BYU. So I think, and the next question I have, is it fair or unfair that this will help BYU? And I don't think it's fair to say that.
You mean doing this won't help BYU?
No, it's not going to help them in the future. The only way I'd say that this helps them become a better school, better team, and get better players, if they can get more money in their sponsorship deals for these kids. But I don't see them doing that. I don't see them. They have a great alumni base, and that's probably one of the top alumni bases out there. Because people come far and wide. Mormons far and wide go to games that BYU's at around the country, period. Ask anybody. You go to a BYU game across the country, it's a whole bunch of BYU fans there, mainly because of the Mormon church. Mm-hmm. So I can see them finding deals and bringing in more money to pay these players. But the biggest thing is that you still got to have 5-star talent or 5 and 4-star talent on your roster to compete. I don't think this helps them get to the playoff at all.
Well, I think separate from that, one problem that I could foresee, and I guess in a sense has already happened, is that how I just talked about this being a copycat league just like any other. If another school sees them doing this exact same thing, and if we've seen it, that means that they've seen it as well, and they get a local sponsor bigger than Built Brand in order to do the exact same thing, but like you said, offer more money. But that's the aspect of the capitalistic market that college football has now brought into itself in the sense of competition.
Yep.
If I can get this amount from BYU, but I can get more from
Clemson,
Oklahoma, doesn't matter who it is. If I can get more from them, then I'm going to go to that school. So then that forces BYU, like I just talked about with evolution, to where revolutions. Get the rhythm. I'm not going to say that. Yeah, this may get you by over the next couple of weeks, but in 2 weeks, this will be obsolete, what you're doing, and you're going to have to further evolve in order to stay relevant and competitive in this market that now is more entrenched in college football.
Yeah, they got to revolve and evolve all at the same damn time. And you do. That's kind of the key component behind making these NIL deals. You have to find the most creative ways to get these, especially when it comes to college football. Because I put it like this. The only players that really matter in this scenario for BYU to get additional players will be in the transfer portal, which a lot of schools live in the transfer portal now. True. Especially once that opened up. They was like, we're not going to recruit 4-star, 5-star players. Cool. We're going to recruit the players that we've actually seen on the field and see them perform, and they're not happy anymore. They don't see them. There's a player that was better than them. They lost the job. And so we're going to take these transfers in. And that's, to me, the only avenue that BYU has, unless they get quote-unquote walk-ons like a Baker Mayfield that walks on and you pay for his scholarship. I don't see them getting players like that. I don't see players gravitating to BYU over this. I just don't. They just have to be really good at recruiting like they've been to be relevant, and hopefully that leads to them competing, but I don't think this NIL deal gets them to the playoff.
Well, I think in a way it can over time with things like this. If it brings more attention for this reason to your program, meaning more people see it, so more people think about you as recruits, then maybe more of them consider you. Most of them are still going to go somewhere else, but maybe you get that one or two. Maybe you get another Zach Wilson just based upon something like this. So ultimately, it can help them to be a little bit better. They're not going to compete. They're probably not even ranked in the top 25, so they're not going to really be that much more competitive on the field. But occasionally, because of things like this, they might get a guy that helps the team to be a little bit better, whatever that means for BYU. And I think that they will accept that will even, if it even slightly makes their product on the field better, they would accept that if this helps them to get there.
I can see that, but BYU's going to have to get themselves to a conference first before we actually.
They're not in the conference?
They're independent.
Okay.
Get yourself into a conference, and then we can talk about you.
Which conference would you suggest for BYU?
I mean, the Big 12's looking for teams right now.
They're just trying to just bail water.
Float.
Nobody wants them.
They need to go ahead and just talk BYU into coming, talk Louisville into coming. Go ahead and call Arkansas and say, you don't want to be over there in the SEC and not win anything. Come to us. You might actually get a chance to go to the playoff through us. Get Arkansas to come on over. You're not going to get Missouri anymore. Missouri's already done that, and they're like, been there, done that. I'm Gucci on that.
Yep.
Get Louisville, get Arkansas. And I don't know, you maybe can call Nebraska and say, look, y'all been getting pummeled like crazy in the Big Ten. Why don't y'all just come back to us? Try to find a way to get back to 12. Add BYU to it.
I like it.
Or even Notre Dame. I mean, try that too.